morning. Today is Tuesday, October 5th, 2021. Here are the news stories of the day. A late meteor shower appeared in the skies of the United States, Russia, and parts of northern Europe last night. Scientists don't know how they missed this meteor shower, but they say it was a great show and there was no damage from the meteors. Halloween is coming in 26 days, and the frenzy for Halloween candy is on the rise this year. Financial experts suggest going out and buying candy in bulk before the prices increase when demand becomes higher days before Halloween. Looking ahead to international news, the United States is holding an accord with the North Korean and South Korean governments to mark the official end of the Korean War. This comes after long talks with both Korean governments, and goals that were met by the North Korean government. Leaders from China and Japan are expected to be in attendance.
This is your local area fire chief. Now more than ever, we need volunteers. Individuals who are willing to answer calls during the night, fight dangerous fires, and those who are willing to risk it all to save lives should apply. All training is paid for, and volunteers can hold both firefighter and EMT status. Join your local fire department today, and make a difference in the community.
DUI cases are on the rise across the country. And once again, drunk drivers will be out during Halloween. Before you drink and drive, think about it. What if it was your children out trick or treating, and a drunk driver hit them? Police departments will be cracking down. Don't be stupid. Stay home, get a cab, or just don't drink.
I'm a mom of 4 kids. I don't have time for my car to break down. Luckily, there's a great new service that helps me out in a pinch. They come pick up my car, and they give me a loaner free of charge. Isn't that great? And the best part is, when they find something wrong, they call me before they fix it to make sure that's what I want. Because they know, a mother of 4 doesn't have time for shenanigans.
Do you like fourth wall breaks? If you're hearing this commercial right now, we just broke the fourth wall. Yep, we can't be completely serious all the time. But I wanted to do something new. So before the roller coaster takes off, and before the wheels fall off the bus, let's enjoy this fourth wall break. Deadpool did it, why can't we? Be sure to like this video and subscribe. More than 90% of viewers are not subscribed. But enough about that, let's continue on.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Center for Disease Control. A dangerous outbreak is occurring in the city of Seattle. The source of the outbreak is unknown at this time, but over 1,000 people have been infected. The following symptoms have been observed: cough, nausea, vomiting, headache, bleeding from the ears, nose, and eyes, psychological distress, and loss of consciousness. A contagious disease warning is now in effect. Residents in the Seattle area should shelter in place. To shelter in place, take the following actions now. Lock all windows and doors. Turn off all heating and ventilation systems. Do not go outside for any reason, unless it is an emergency. If someone in your home becomes sick, quarantine them in a room until symptoms has passed. Be sure to monitor yourself for symptoms, and only go to the hospital if it is a true emergency. Stay tuned to local media outlets for further information on this developing situation.
Thank you for joining us this morning. Today is October 6th, 2021, and we have a breaking news story. There has been an outbreak of a virus in Seattle. Approximately 100 people are hospitalized, and medical experts are trying to identify the source of the outbreak. The Center for Disease Control has put out limited information, but it is as follows. This virus can spread from person to person, and the incubation period is unknown, but it appears to be within hours. Current symptoms of this virus include cough, headache, nausea, vomiting, bleeding from the ears, nose, and mouth, psychological distress, and loss of consciousness. We will provide more information when it becomes available.
The following message is being transmitted at the request of the Center for Disease Control. The outbreak that was occurring in the city of Seattle has spread to other cities. The following cities have been affected by this virus: Dallas, Miami, Portland, Boston, New York City, and Denver. This is a dangerous and life-threatening situation. The infected are dying quickly and are reanimated as zombified creatures. To combat this deadly situation, the United States government has sent in the military to dispatch the undead. If you are suspected of having this virus, you will be shot on sight. Residents should shelter in place and follow the guidelines put in place by the Center for Disease Control. Lock all windows and doors. Turn off all heating and ventilation systems. If someone in your home becomes sick, you must avoid contact with them. Do not go outside for any reason. Stay tuned to local media outlets for further information on this developing situation. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. The virus outbreak has been contained, all undead persons were dispatched, and the threat from this virus is over. Additionally, scientists have determined that this virus was caused by exposure to particles from the moon. The meteor shower that occurred was thought to be from a passing meteor that was breaking up in Earth's atmosphere. However, it appears that particles from the moon broke off and landed in the United States. These particles contain the virus. If you see moon particles in your yard, do not come into contact with it. Contact your local Center for Disease Control office to have the particle safely removed. This is an all-clear message. Residents may resume normal activities. Please stand by for an important message. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. This message contains important information about potential disasters. Listen to it in its entirety. Over the last week, scientists from NASA have made a startling discovery. It has been determined that the moon has been pushed towards the Earth and is approaching at a slow rate. Scientists are attempting to figure out what caused this happen and how to prevent a collision with the Earth. As the moon gets closer, the tides will rise. Areas close to the coast will experience historical flooding of biblical proportions. Large and destructive earthquakes will occur throughout the fault lines of the United States, and coastal fault lines will cause tsunamis to spawn. Volcanoes will erupt in an explosion manner. This is a civil danger warning for the entire United States. While this is not a national emergency, yet all residents of the United States should be prepared for any disasters that will occur. All residents should have a battery-powered radio to receive updates if there are electricity disruptions. Stay tuned to local media outlets, as more information will be released to the public when it becomes available. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. A tsunami warning is now in effect for the following areas: the entire Atlantic coastline stretching from Maine to the Florida Keys, the Gulf of Mexico from Florida to Texas, the entire Pacific coastline stretching from Washington to California, all coastal areas in the state of Alaska, and the state of Hawaii. Oceanic waters have begun to rise due to the decreased distance from the moon. All coastal areas will be inundated with large amounts of flooding. Entire communities will be destroyed. This is expected to begin within the next 6 to 10 hours. Most of Hawaii has been evacuated prior to this, but the last remaining residents must board airplanes now to escape the expected destruction. A mandatory evacuation order is now in effect for all areas listed in the warning. Move inland and to higher ground now. Shelters are being set up across the country, but you must move inland approximately 50 to 100 miles to avoid destruction. The entire state of Florida must evacuate. Stay tuned to local media outlets for further information on this life-threatening situation. Earthquake warning. Take cover now. Shaking is expected to begin soon. Earthquake warning. Take cover now. Shaking is expected to begin soon. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. Earthquakes with preliminary magnitude of 9.7 on the Richter scale have struck the San Andreas fault line across different locations. The following cities have been destroyed or severely damaged: San Bernardino, Palm Springs, San Jose, San Francisco, Eureka. Law enforcement officials are reporting that there are large building collapses, downed trees, and power lines. This is a dangerous and life-threatening situation. Aftershocks are expected to occur, and may be intense. Take the following actions now. If your home has taken any damage, or you smell the odor of natural gas, you must evacuate immediately. While evacuating, take caution as many roadways have been damaged with large cracks in them. There is a risk of sinkholes opening up in the ground as well. Shelters are being set up across the state. Listen to your local news or radio station for information about evacuating to the nearest shelter. Stay tuned to local media outlets for further information on this developing situation. A tsunami warning is now in effect for the following areas: the entire west coast of the continental United States, Hawaii, Alaska, and all points west of the United States. Large earthquakes with preliminary magnitude of 9.7 on the Richter scale have occurred along the San Andreas fault line. This has triggered tsunami waves that are expected to impact the west coast within the next 30 minutes, and within the next 6 to 10 hours along the coast of Alaska and Hawaii. Take the following action now. Evacuate to higher ground. Do not go near the coastlines, as you will be swept away when the tsunami arrives. Remember, a tsunami is a series of waves, and the first one may not be the largest. A tsunami is close when the water begins to recede from the beach. Stay tuned to local media outlets for further information on this developing situation. Earthquake warning. Take cover now. Shaking is expected to begin soon. Earthquake warning. Take cover now. Shaking is expected to begin soon. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. Earthquakes with preliminary magnitude of 8.8 on the Richter scale have occurred across the Cascadia fault line. The following cities have been severely damaged: Seattle, Portland, Eugene, Medford. There have been reports of major structural damage to buildings, downed trees, and downed power lines. Residents are being asked to evacuate their homes if they are severely damaged. Shelters are being set up, and law enforcement officials are asking all residents to listen to their local news or radio station for information on shelters. Take the following actions now if you must evacuate. Watch for downed power lines. Avoid cracked roadways, as they are vulnerable to collapse. Take enough food, clothing, and water to last you up to 1 month. Have a battery-powered radio to receive important news and updates on the situation. A tsunami warning is still in effect for the following areas: the entire west coast of the continental United States, Hawaii, Alaska, and all points west of the United States. Large earthquakes along the San Andreas and Cascadia fault lines have generated mega tsunamis. Many towns along the coastline have been swept away. The following actions must be taken immediately by all residents: evacuate and land to the mountains. Shelters are being set up in the Rockies for all residents that have been displaced by these events. Follow the orders given by the National Guard, as they are escorting residents to the shelters. Take a battery-powered radio to receive news and updates on the situation. We interrupt our programming. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow. This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast stations and cable systems shall transmit this emergency action notification. This station has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the White House to participate in the emergency alert system. During this emergency, most stations will remain on the air providing news and information to the public in assigned areas. This is KCPW. We will continue to serve the Salt Lake City area. If you are not in this local area, you should tune to stations providing news and information for your local area. You are listening to the emergency alert system serving the Salt Lake City area. Do not use your telephone. The telephone line should be kept open for emergency use. Multiple natural disasters have occurred on the West Coast, and many states have been severely damaged or destroyed. The moon is moving closer to the Earth at an accelerated rate, and this is increasing the intensity of the disasters. Additionally, the following volcanoes have violently erupted: Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier, Mount Shasta, Mount Hood, and Three Sisters. There have been multiple pyroclastic eruptions that have destroyed the surrounding area, and residents who were evacuating from the West Coast have either gone missing or were killed by the blasts. The threat of a violent volcanic eruption from Yellowstone cannot be ruled out. This is an event of the Mississippi River. Stay tuned to local media outlets for further information. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. This is not a test. I repeat, this is not a test. Yellowstone has erupted. Pyroclastic flows and intense ash fall have begun, and lava has destroyed the surrounding area. The evacuation warning is still in place at this time. Additionally, the Salt Lake City area was destroyed by a 10.0 magnitude earthquake from the Wasatch Fault line. The United States government is attempting to evacuate residents from both the Salt Lake City area and the Yellowstone eruption zone. The Army and Marine Corps have been activated to assist the National Guard. There is a small window of opportunity for evacuation, so you must take this chance to evacuate to the East Coast. Stay tuned to local media outlets for further information on this developing situation. Earthquake warning. Take cover now. Shaking is expected to begin soon. Earthquake warning. Take cover now. Shaking is expected to begin soon. The following message is being transmitted at the request of the United States government. An earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 9.2 on the Richter scale has struck the New Madrid fault line. The following states have suffered severe damage: Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Arkansas, Iowa, and West Virginia. Early reports indicate that there have been structural collapses in large buildings. There are cracks in roadways, downed trees, and power lines. Residents who were evacuated from the West Coast are once again being asked to evacuate further east. Residents in the New Madrid fault zone should evacuate, as aftershocks are still possible. Take the following actions now. Take enough food, clothing, and water to last you up to 3 months. Have a battery-powered radio with you to receive news and updates. Follow all instructions from the National Guard, Army, and Marine Corporation. If a road has a large crack on it, do not cross it, as it is prone to collapse. Do not attempt to cross the Mississippi River or any bridges crossing the river. Stay tuned to local media updates for further information on this dangerous situation. A tsunami warning is now in effect for the entire Atlantic coastline of the United States, and all points east of the continental United States. Volcanic eruptions and earthquakes around the world have caused great destruction. The eruption at La Palma has caused more than 500 cubic feet of rock to fall 6,000 feet into the ocean. This has triggered a mega tsunami. I repeat, this has triggered a mega tsunami. All residents must evacuate more than 50 miles inland. Do not go to the beach or coastlines. You will face certain death. I repeat, certain death is imminent. The mega tsunami is expected to hit the United States Atlantic coastlines within the next 7 hours. Take the time to evacuate now. Do not wait, as you will face certain death. We interrupt our programming. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow. Please stand by for an important message. Residents of Earth, hear this message, and heed this warning. We have been watching your species for thousands of years. We have watched the pestilence, the wars, the famines, and the failure of humanity. In the last 30 years, we have been watching 10,000 people closely, and we have safely evacuated these people to restart the human race on a new planet. We are the reason the moon is moving closer to the Earth. We are the reason that it will destroy your civilizations. The Son of God died for your sins. You have failed to learn from this. Your failure will serve as a lesson to the new human race. In 2 hours, our machine will reach maximum acceleration, causing the moon to crash into the Earth. If you are not killed by the impact or the tsunami waves, you will be killed by the heat and the fires. Say goodbye to loved ones. Pray to God. Ask for forgiveness. Use the last 2 hours of your life to do something valuable. Goodbye. Please stand by for an important message.
My fellow Americans, this message comes with deep sorrow and regret. We were contacted by an alien race about their observations of the human race. They gave us an ultimatum to prove that the human race can change. We have failed. We tried to start with the Korean summit, and that failed as well. My fellow Americans, in our final hour, I ask for your forgiveness. It was not my intention to hide this information from you, but I did not want the country to panic in our most vulnerable hour. In less than 1 hour, the moon will complete its trajectory, and will destroy the earth. Now is the time to make amends with loved ones. Even though this life on earth is over, eternal life awaits us in the kingdom of heaven. My fellow Americans, it has been an honor to serve as your president. Godspeed.